These are perilous times, I tell you. They are perilous times. I want you to listen to your president. I want you to listen to a man who as brazenly as the late Hugo Chavez, the Castro brothers, Mugabe, Putin, any of them, is telling you exactly who he is and exactly what he intends to do, which he's been doing all along. And I want you to believe him when he says it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we've replaced the Declaration of Independence with the Communist Manifesto. Read it. Not in every respect, but the guts of it. And we've replaced the Bill of Rights and the Constitution with the 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto, which I will mention in a moment. But this president intends, wherever he can, whenever he can, to abuse his power. If he can get away with it, he knows Congress is a dead letter. Congress can do nothing and will do nothing. You want to know why? Because when your Republican leaders announced to the world that they will not shut down the government, they did more than announce that they won't shut down the government. They announced that they're such cowards and they're so timid, there's not a damn thing they're going to use in the Constitution's arsenal to stop this president. Nothing. Zero. They're not upholding their oath of office either. Not a single member of Congress who refuses to step forward and challenge the lawlessness of this president is upholding his or her oath of office, because they have a duty to defend the Constitution every bit as much as the President of the United States or any member of any court. And they won't do it. And the media in this country. What's the point? What is the point of having a First Amendment with respect to the press in this country if it's more or less a propaganda mill? If it's more or less, as I've been calling it for years, the Praetorian Guard for the president and big government. What's the point? It might as well be more honestly referred to as the government media. I've got an article in front of me here. 22 individuals who previously served in the media have served or are serving in the Obama administration. They are anxious to join this administration officially. But many of them have joined it unofficially, where they pretend to be journalists. They pretend to be journalists where they advance the cause of this president and his agenda. What's the point of the First Amendment if this is the way they're going to behave? Here's Obama today before a cabinet meeting. Some of you have heard this, some of you have not. But everybody needs to hear it. That's the point. Cut one, go.
One of the things that I'll be emphasizing in this meeting is the fact that we are not just going to be waiting for legislation in order to make sure that we're providing Americans the kind of help that they need. I've got a pen and I've got a phone. And I can use that pen to sign executive orders and take executive actions and administrative actions that move the ball forward.
He's just announced that he is going to assume lawmaking powers. He's just announced that he is going to assume lawmaking powers. He does not recognize the majority in the House of Representatives. I don't know how much more clearly he can say it. You know what this is, folks? You know what this is? This is a gradual, quiet coup. That's what's taking place. It's gradual. It's quiet in the sense that it's nonviolent, but it's a coup. Here he is, cut two, Mr. Producer, go.
One of the things that I'm going to be talking to my cabinet about is how do we use all the tools available to us, not just legislation, in order to advance a mission that I think unifies all Americans. The belief that...
Stop. This is the common parlance of the dictator, assuming that he represents all Americans, that he's a unifying figure, that we just need to concentrate more power in his hands. He will decide what laws are good, what laws are bad. He will use executive orders to pass laws that Congress won't pass, and he will ignore laws he doesn't like, and he'll rewrite laws that he wants to rewrite, like Obamacare and so forth. This is the mindset and the language that dictators have. He assumes to speak for everybody. He's above politics. He's God's gift. He was put on earth to do just this. And yet, when you go back to the Constitution, written by slave owners, men with wooden teeth, they say the opposite. They say this is tyranny. I say you are witnessing a gradual, yet quiet, Coup. You just heard what he said. Oh, Mark, what's the conspiracy stuff? One more time. It is not Mark conspiracy stuff. It's out of Obama's big mouth today. That's right. Cut one again, just so the whole world hears the damn thing. Go.
One of the things that I'll be emphasizing in this meeting is the fact that we are not just going to be waiting for legislation in order to make sure that we're providing Americans the kind of help that they need.
Stop. That's all the power you have, pal, is to wait for legislation. What do you mean we're not just going to be waiting for legislation? That's it, buddy. That's it. You damn well are supposed to sit there and wait for legislation. You can work with members of the House and the Senate and try and shape it in advance, but you refuse to do it because of your totalitarian mindset. Cut two, go.
One of the things that I'm going to be talking to my cabinet about is how do we use all the tools available to us, not just legislation.
Stop. That is the tool that's available to you, legislation. You don't have the power to make orders on top of or over the top of or around legislation. I mean, this guy's unbelievable. And the fact that our neighbors sit around and they're going to think I'm the one who's extreme by pointing it out, by giving it historical context, by passionately denouncing it. I'm not the one who's extreme. He is.